Why is a world spirituality a genuine option today in a way that it actually never was before? You might even call a world spirituality an evolutionary emergent. You like that phrase? Fancy phrase, right? It's really simple. Evolution just means the insight that the world is evolving from simple to complex. So that insight shows up every place. For example, the book of Genesis. You begin with very simple life forms, and those simple life forms emerge gradually from simple to complex. Right? That's evolution. Right? How evolution works. Right? Does it work based on intelligent design from without? Or is there a force of love or eros within, right, the very fabric of the cosmos that drives the cosmos forward and is the actual evolutionary impulse or the initiating energy of the cosmos? Great question. We don't care right now. Right, what we do see, though, is in the world, everyone agrees that actually in front of us, we see this evolution from simple to complex. Greater levels of complexity, greater levels of depth and consciousness. So world spirituality, this vision of a potential world spirituality which transcends the old narrow ethnic visions, is an evolutionary emergent, meaning it's a new emergent. It's something new that's emerged that actually has never fully existed before. There are glimmerings of it before. There are hints at it. And in other conversations, I'll talk to you and share with you from the great traditions of the last several thousand years, where are the glimmerings, the hints, the invitations, the precursors, the foreshadowings of this world spirituality that today is just bursting forward as this powerful and unbelievably exciting and important transformative evolutionary emergent. We'll talk about that. For now, let's just recognize that world spirituality is an evolutionary emergent. It's a new possibility. Now, why? What allows for it? What allows for it is actually very simple. The world's changed. It used to be, if you were born in Nepal, you grew up in Nepal and you died in Nepal. And the religion of Nepal and the politics of Nepal and the culture of Nepal defined you. And you had very little access to what they were thinking about in Paris, because Paris was a whole different world. If you were born in Paris and you lived in Paris and you grew up in Paris, you had very little access to what they were really thinking and breathing and living and practicing, right, in the New World, or in South America, or in Mexico. People were born into their life context, and although there was some sharing of information about world culture among the very elite sectors of society, that sharing was relatively limited and certainly not available beyond the elite. The masses, right, the large body of public, right, had no access to that. Today, that's all changed. Today, with the advent of modernity, with the advent of public libraries, with the advent of internet shared information, with the advent of the university as it functions, right, reaching out to the broad public, not only the elite, across the world, right, people are actually accessing a depth of view and understanding of different cultures, of different religions, of the historical context of each culture and religion. They can access the deep eternal truths in each religion and system. They can compare them. All of this is accessible not only to an elite, but actually to everyone. For the first time in the history of the planet, for the first time in the history of humanity, you can, every citizen can, access the great truths of all the great systems and bring them together and look at them and study them. That's unbelievable. That's never, ever been true, right? That by itself, right, is a revolution in possibility. And that revolution in possibility is creating, is emerging, right, is bringing forward the possibility of a world spirituality. Now, that's not the only thing that's bringing it forward. There are other factors that we're going to talk about in our different conversations. But for now, let's just notice that this very simple techno-based fact, the availability of books, libraries, cross-pollination, cross-fertilization, technical mobility of travel, the availability of great teachers from each tradition who are traveling the globe. All of that was never a possibility before, and all of that contributes, right, to the great awakening of a new possibility, Spirit's next move, the formation of a global world spirituality in which the religions don't disappear, but one can actually be both part of a religion, a specific religion, and at the same time also be a citizen of a world spirituality. What that means, those last couple of sentences, we're going to talk about tomorrow in our next conversation.